Few companies have done as well from the American consumer's love of spending on credit as Capital One, one of the largest credit card issuers in the U.S. In its first decade, the company's profits grew by over 30% a year. Diversification efforts, including recent acquisitions of 2 regional retail banks, have transformed what used to be a pure credit card company into one of America's top 10 banks as measured by deposits.
I'll take care of that for you.
Capital One began life as part of Virginia's Signet Bank. In 1988, Richard Fairbank, who worked for years as a consultant to various industries, persuaded Signet Bank to implement a consumer database marketing strategy to customize credit card offers based on risk through direct mail. This nerdy marketing strategy was an immediate success. In 1994, Signet spun off the credit card business, giving birth to Capital One, with Richard Fairbank as its first and only chairman and CEO. By the year 2000, Capital One was one of the top 5 credit card issuers in the U.S., but brand awareness was weak. Capital One cardholders had no trouble distinguishing between Visa and MasterCard, but often had no idea who the issuer even was. And when prompted, many consumers associated the brand with lots of mail, or worse, asked, "Capital who?"
So here we were, Capital Who, a direct mail, credit card only company seeking a meaningful identity in the marketplace. We made the decision to create a brand. And the reason for that is we were in what we call a Visa MasterCard trap. Most people refer to their credit cards as, well, I've either got a Visa or a MasterCard. They paid very little attention to the issuing brand. And so by default, Visa or MasterCard was Capital One's brand. The problem with that was that we had dreams and visions well beyond credit cards. We wanted to be a diversified financial services company, and the Visa MasterCard brands would soon be outgrown by Capital One.
And we decided long ago that the place we wanted to occupy was that of being a champion for the consumer. We're looking out for their best interest.
We then made the decision to invest in an advertising voice in the marketplace, as well as to become a far more integrated marketer across all of the marketing channels, basically exploding beyond direct mail, and broadcast advertising was our first stop.
So the first thing we did actually was make sure we understood and actually had captured all the needs and frustrations that people have with their credit cards in the United States. We did a lot of qualitative research, a lot of concept development research, and actually some quantitative research to identify at first nearly 100 different potential needs, frustrations, brand equities for Capital One, to narrow those down to about half that number, and actually used correlation analysis to develop the derived importance of these attributes to get to a set of attributes that were not only important to consumers, but also really fit what our aspiration was in terms of our brand vision for what we wanted our brand to be.
We knew that if we wanted to engage with consumers, we needed to engage with humor, okay? And also impact. And the easiest thing we could have done, it was go out and produce an incredibly cheap commercial, if you will, that didn't engage with the consumer, but basically told everybody our products do A, B, and C. The consumer doesn't want to know that. The first thing you have to do with the consumer is actually reach out to them, engage with them, and humor is absolutely the best way to do that.
The focal point of the campaign represented the competition as a horde of marauding barbarians who served as a metaphor for bad bankers getting ugly with consumers who don't use their company's financial services and find themselves out of work when people have switched over. The simple tagline of the campaign was, "What's in your wallet?"
Sure, we had a good time pillaging. But with so many people switching to Capital One, we've had to find new jobs.
Maybe a 7.5.
It's been especially tough on Ivan the Great.
For low rates and great rewards, switch to Capital One.
What's in your wallet? What are you looking at?
The backbone of the mass customization effort was the direct mail component, and everything else from the TV spots and print ads to promotions and the corporate website supported direct mail. Even the envelopes used in the direct mail campaign were printed to harmonize with the overall theme of the campaign. No detail escaped the scrutiny of Capital One's marketing team.
Advertising provides a great air cover for those hardworking ground troops, i.e. all the mail that we put into the households of America. Those are where we really tell people about our products in great detail. It's the mechanism they use to actually buy our products through application. They can choose to actually apply back through the mail itself, or they can go online and apply. What we've done is we've taken the brand personality and run it through all the different touch points that Capital One has. So the maverick personality that we've established in advertising, the advocacy for the consumer, it plays out in the way that we position our mail, in the calls that come into operators who service our customers, in the web experience, in our banners that we use, the search engines that we use. Basically any touch point now has the brand personality coursing through it, which is set in tone by what we do in television.
In less than 2 years, Capital One's brand identity went from obscurity to a 94% awareness rate. It has since climbed to over 99%, according to internal research. In April of 2006, Capital One was ranked #1 by the Issuer Brand Index, a syndicated market study designed to quantify the brand strength of credit card issuers in the areas of card usage, brand awareness, quality, and brand image. As the campaign has evolved, Capital One stayed on mission, focusing on the effectiveness of the ads and eating up market share.
You know, one of the great opportunities that you earn once you create a famous advertising campaign is to create another. And so the Visigoths, the hordes coming over the hilltop, were a vehicle for our Cord credit card products. When we launched a phenomenal no-hassle rewards product where you could virtually fly anytime on any airline in any seat, and these ridiculous blackout dates, we just didn't believe in them, but we felt we had great news for the marketplace. We didn't want to fold it into an existing piece of advertising. We felt we needed literally a second campaign. And so we had a strategy that said, let's have 2 streaming campaigns at the same time, one for core credit card rates and another for our no-hassle rewards product.
In the case of the David Spade campaign, it was no, 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 and it kept going on. Consumers really resonated to that, because that is an absolute consumer frustration. I want to use my miles, but I can't. With Capital One, you can. We turn no into no hassles.
Capital One's brand equity has been an important asset in its diversification strategy. Capital One has been entering other financial fields, buying car loan, healthcare finance, and other consumer finance companies. In 2004, it snapped up eSmart Loan, a home equity loan outfit. More recently, it acquired Hibernia National Bank, the largest bank in Louisiana.
Capital One has become a much more diversified company, so our target market is much, much broader, and in fact now all of our marketing research in essence targets people who use financial services because those are the prospective customers of Capital One.
The combined company will earn about 50% of its profits from businesses other than credit cards. One business of special interest to Capital One is small and mid-size business card and loan products. Small businesses, companies with annual revenues of less than $1 million, are an undeveloped opportunity.
You know, we started off with the Visigoths early on as introducing the Capital One brand. It was very successful, and even after 3 years, we're getting playback, even after we'd taken off the air. So we thought, you know, as we diversify our portfolio, maybe it's time to bring this asset back, okay? So we brought the Visigoths back, and basically, it wasn't that they were empowered anymore. It was that they were disempowered because everybody's doing business with Capital One. As a result, they had to find new jobs.
Pillaging was great this time of year, but with so many people switching to Capital One, we've taken jobs as camp counselors. Burnt a village to the ground, doo-dah, doo-dah. We're not exactly role models.
For low rates and great rewards, switch to Capital One.
What's in your wallet? Put your backs into it!
So we continue to invest aggressively in a brand voice, test like crazy to find that better mousetrap in advance of the competition, become multi-channel marketers, and basically satisfy the needs of the consumer in any channel the consumer chooses. And at the end of the day, you stick to those basics and you're going to be successful.
What's in your wallet?